Call her Buffy because she is slaying. If you didn't know, the T actually stands for... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Ali and today we are diving into Taylor Swift's Grammy Red Carpet history, and naturally I will be ranking them. You guys have been asking me for a fashion related video for forever, and this just felt like the perfect time to do it. Well, I guess the perfect time would have actually been a week ago, but that's obviously far too predictable. So to be completely honest with you guys, this week I just did not have like the emotional capacity to dive into anything deeper than this, although some might argue fashion can be quite deep. You know, when you take a photo and you're like, let's do a silly one. That is the mood that I'm in today. So I'm hoping that if anyone out there is feeling overwhelmed by the state of the world or their current life, this can be a nice little half-hour distraction. Obviously, my job today is going to be very challenging because Taylor Swift looks like a supermodel. Pretty much everything looks great on her, but obviously I'm just ranking the outfits themselves. So I will take into account like how well styled I think it is, the tailoring, the fit, and also how well I think it suits the era and how well it has aged. Important disclaimer that I don't think needs to be said, but obviously I am just a nobody, a plebeian, sitting here in my $10 thrifted dress. I'm in no place to be judging anyone's fashion, let alone someone as successful as Taylor. I probably cannot even afford the bobby pins that hold her hair together on these red carpets. I actually don't feel like anyone wears bobby pins on the red carpet, or maybe they're really well hidden. But again, I really do love fashion and it's not something I feel like I talk about much on here at all, probably for fear of like being roasted because I don't think I particularly dress that well, but I just have an interest in it. But I figured today we could just have a little chat, do some rankings, and of course I would love to hear your opinions in the comments below. Let's keep it respectful though. The last two tier ranking videos, it's gotten a little bit scary in the comments. Side note, speaking of Grammys, before we get into all of this, I just thought this year's Grammys were so fun, so entertaining. I really loved the choice to have all of the best new artists perform. I hope they continue to do that forever because what an amazing way to showcase performers that some people might not have seen yet or might have heard of, but you know, not correlated them with a song. That was just incredible. Sabrina just belongs on the stage. Her comedic timing, I feel like, is something that not many other performers of her generation have that well. I'm very excited for her deluxe album to come out. All right, well, let's get into my tiers. As always, at the top, we have God tier. These looks will never go out of style. Next, we have, hey kids, slaying is fun.
Slay the boots, house down.
Third, in our middle place, we have nice. She polished up. I enjoyed it. It's just not quite as iconic as those top tiers. Tier number 4, it might be okay, but it's not fine at all. The dresses that are going here are, it's nothing new. And finally, in last place, we have should have let it stay buried, which I think is self-explanatory. Okay, first up is 2008, Taylor's first Grammys. She looks so young here. I just want to protect this beautiful, tiny, vulnerable girl from like everything that is about to happen to her, but also for her, you know? So obviously this was Taylor's first Grammy appearance. She was nominated for Best New Artist this night, which she lost to Amy Winehouse. Pretty strong competition there. Now, I don't think I've ever seen this talked about, but in the beginning of Taylor's career, she was styled by none other than Sandy Speaker, aka Mrs. Big Machine Records, Scott Borchetta's wife. They were very much keeping it in the family at that time.
Beautiful dress. What?
Gosh, thank you. It's a custom made dress. It's by Sandy Speaker. It has like crystals and European fabric that I can't remember the name of, and I'm wearing Tiffany's jewelry that's totally worth more than my house.
Personally, I don't love a drop waist look on me. I just think it doesn't suit my body type. I have a very short torso, but I think I really like it on Taylor. Again, she has such a long figure. I'm only 5'5", very different body, but Taylor has this like long statuesque figure where I just think it looks great. This was 2008, so after Debut had come out but before Fearless had come out, and I think this dress kind of perfectly encapsulates the time between those two eras. The corseted bodice obviously fits very well into the love story theme, and then the pastel color itself really fits into the vibe of the dresses in like Our Song and Teardrops on My Guitar. Also, does the bottom of this dress remind anyone of like a willow tree? It's giving willow vibes. This color is one that we don't often see on Taylor, which is a shame because I think it looks really nice. It suits her skin tone, and for how well this dress fits the era and I think has aged, I'm putting it in hey kids, slaying is fun. She looks gorgeous. I also just think Debut fashion on the the whole is quite slept on. The sundresses, the cowboy boots, it was just such a cute era, and it fits into a lot of things that are trending right now. Obviously, I don't sleep on it. I am a huge fan of not only that album, but just the genre and the style of it as well. If there's anything I sleep on, I think it is the Reputation era fashion, but that is another video entirely. I do, however, sleep fantastically thanks to this video's sponsor, Loop earplugs, and in particular, the Loop Dream. You guys know that I've been wearing my Loop earplugs to concerts in particular for years now. They are incredible and so helpful for protecting your hearing or just helping you feel less overstimulated in a crowd, but I also just love them for everyday use and now nighttime use as well. This pair are designed specifically for sleep, and they are just the dreamiest pair yet. I am a side sleeper, a very light sleeper, and also a restless sleeper. And maybe even worse than all of that, I often sleep next to or near or around snorers. All of these things combined make it very hard for me to fall asleep and stay asleep. These are a great help for those that have to listen. They're comfortable and they stay put. Personally, I love the lilac, just like Taylor's dress. But you can also get peach or black. So unlike other Loop earplugs, if you guys have those already, these you don't need to twist into your ear to get them in place. You actually just push them in, hold it for like 5 seconds, and you're good to go. As always, you guys can get a discount with my code. It is LoopX-Ali. They also offer 100-day free returns. I just cannot recommend enough treating either yourself or someone you love to some of these bad boys. Thank you again, Loop earplugs, for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. Next is 2009, this sleek black number with a very quintessential Taylor updo. All I can see when I look at this dress, and also like the wavy curls, half out, like kind of out messy hair, is just so Lauren Conrad. Almost bohemian look, but also very fashion forward. It just screams LC to me. Now, the Grammys are definitely a more fancy, more traditional and less costumey red carpet compared to, say, the Met Ball or the VMAs, where you might do something a little bit more outlandish. So I will forgive Taylor and her team for kind of playing it safe here. It definitely is giving prom dress a little bit, like to the point where I think I wore something similar a few years later. But given how young Taylor still was at this time, I wonder if that's a really nice touch to kind of not emphasize, because I don't think she really ever banked on her age. She wanted to just be good, period. But it's an age-appropriate dress. That said, while it is an age-appropriate dress, it is also not super exciting. So I'm gonna put it in nice. Next up is 2010. This night had Taylor's first Album of the Year win alongside 3 other wins, I'm pretty sure.
Taylor Swift, Nathan Chapman, and Taylor Swift.
Featured artist, Colby Calais. Produced.
I just hope that you know how much this means to me. This is the story, all of us when we're 80 years old, and we are telling the same stories over and over again to our grandkids, and they're so annoyed with us. This is the story we're gonna be telling over and over again in 2010, how we got to win Album of the Year at the Grammys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Shout out in case anyone forgot that Fearless is still to this day the most awarded country album of all time. I just love the blue sparkly nature of this. It's like if the Eras Tour Midnight's t-shirt dresses got the aquamarine treatment, like pulled to the body and extended. Speaking of mermaids, one part about this dress that kind of gives me a bit of the creeps is that I feel like the material is so thin, or looks so thin, that I can see the outline of her body. I should not be able to tell so clearly where her kneecap is. And it reminds me of when humans wear those like mermaid tails, but you can just see their legs through it. The silhouette of this dress almost reminds me of something Olivia Rodrigo would wear now. Like, I feel like she tends to wear a lot of long gowns like this. But what makes this a little bit more fun than an Olivia gown, because to me, Olivia's looks never have that much guts, is this unique neckline detailing. And also the back. I feel like I need to go back to school to figure out what shape that is. I think at the end of the day, I love her in blue. I love her in sparkles. This was actually a very well-placed Midnight's Easter egg. This also has to go in second tier. Hey kids, slaying is fun. Next we have 2012. This dress to me is like if Maria from The Sound of Music made outfits out of the walls or a really expensive rug rather than the curtains. It feels so different to any other look on this entire list. She almost could wear this to the Met. Actually, it kind of reminds me of I think it was the AMAs in like 2014. Much shorter version of this dress, but like a similar detail. And after looking at this for so long, I could not figure out why it felt so off balance. I was like, you know, the updo is nice because it's a high neck dress. You can show off that beautiful heart detail. And then I realized it's because I can see her forehead. I'm just so not used to it that now when I do see her forehead, I'm like, oh my God, like forgot that you had that. I will say it is a beautiful bun. The clean girl aesthetic girlies would be gagging over this bun. Whenever I try to do something like that, I end up looking like Miss Trunchbull. So that's why you see me with my hair down every video. But that said, she took her bun out later to perform one of my all-time favorite Grammys moments.
Someday I'll be singing this at the Grammys.
And then when her hair went back up, the fringe stayed out, and I much preferred it that way. And again, maybe I've just been like psychologically trained to only recognize her face with a fringe. I really think I wouldn't figure out the Hannah Montana Miley Stewart situation, because Taylor Swift without a fringe, I'm like, that's a different person. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing.
Beautiful rug dress. I'm gonna put you in nice. Next we have 2013. Oh my god, Taylor in white is just... Taylor in a white dress does something to me. Call her Buffy because she is slaying. And if I'm not mistaken, this is our official Grammys Bangs red carpet debut. Here she also gave one of the craziest, deepest Easter eggs, which is of course that this Greek goddess-esque dress was a hint that she would someday give us the absolutely phenomenal song Cassandra. I know she was a priestess, I just couldn't resist making that reference. It's actually crazy how much this whole vibe could have fit the folklore Grammys. A white flowy dress, a braid, and an updo, they could be swapped. I like the silver part around the waist, but I think I'd prefer it without that neckline. Although maybe then it would look too Grecian, like she was going to like a college toga party and just happened to look way better than everyone else. Regardless, at the end of the day, this is a slay. She just looks so good. Oh my god, 2014. This is such a jump scare because this was the scene of the crime.
Random access memory. Random access memory.
Taylor's glam in particular is so phenomenal here. Sometimes I hear myself talk and I'm like, damn, you really do sound Australian. But yeah, I think my favorite kind of hair on Taylor is when it's like kind of feathered with all those layers. Like this day in particular, just... so good. And as I mentioned before, I love Taylor in sparkles. Whether it is silver or gold, she really can make the whole place shimmer. Also, just like the silhouette of this is so good. Again, she's so tall, so anything looks amazing on her, but she looks like a literal statue. It's like a Tony Award if they slayed. I think from memory, it was Sarah from Taylor Swift Style who said this, but for someone who had spent their first kind of 3 albums singing about princess dresses and fairy tale motifs, to now this chapter of her life after the Red album, which I think was a real, I don't want to say reality shock, but it addressed love in a much more realistic way. Now Taylor is dressed as her own knight in shining armor. So I think that's really beautiful. This is absolutely going in second tier. Hey kids, slaying is fun. Okay, then we have 2015. So this to me is just mermaid Barbie. I'm certain that I had a Barbie on top of my cake as a little kid that looked just like this one. So all in one look, we have a high-low mullet cut, ombre color, and an extreme side part. The color choices here just feel so 2015. They actually kind of feel more like 2011, especially with that like chunky platform heel. Those shoes just defied gravity and logic, and I do love them. The color scheme is just so reminiscent of that time. The ombre in the dress, it hasn't aged that well to me, and I don't even know if I loved it back then. This hair length I don't consider to be an official bob. I feel like that's still coming later. It's more of a long bob, a lob, a robbit if you will. I think it looks good. It's very nice and like sleek and healthy, but in this era, again, I just preferred it a bit more tousled, a bit more zhuzhed. You know, I think about that one video of Taylor and the Haim girlies. I love that look. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about the neckline either. I think the little straps on the side do help, but not enough. So I'm going to put this in okay, but not fine at all. Next we have 2016. We're still in the 1989 era, but boy, are things different. This was another historical night for Taylor. Obviously, she took home Album of the Year again, and she looked this good doing it. To me, this look gives Bianca from 10 Things I Hate About You going to their school dance. And this hair length is where it's like really, truly exciting to me. I can't think of many other celebrities, let alone singers, like maybe models, but let alone singers, that could pull off this hair length. Besides Taylor, there are only 3 people I can think of that can pull off this hair length. That is Anna Wintour, Coconut Head, and this diva. I love the leg slit. I love the tiny strappy heel. Be careful out there, it is cunting season. The way that the skirt is cut so high just like elongates her already crazy tall legs. I love how the colors aren't matchy but complement each other really well. It's giving the Eras Tour 2.0 1989 sets. It's just a perfect ode to the era of crop tops and matching skirts, which I will always think very fondly of. If I'm not mistaken, this might also be our first Grammys red lip classic thing that I like. I have absolutely zero bad blood with this outfit. outfit. She is god tier. And just a quick side note while we are on the topic, I might end up cutting this out because I'm already nervous to bring it up, but I know people often say they don't like this look because it reminds them of how sick Taylor was at the time, which I completely understand. I think that comes from a really beautiful place of compassion and like not wanting to see someone you care about suffering. But it just got me thinking, and I just wanted to kind of take the chance, because I know I do have a pretty big audience here, to talk about the fact that while we often associate eating disorders with thinness or a certain body type, people can struggle with them at any weight. And I don't say that to detract from Taylor's experience at all. I think it is incredibly brave that she has shared what she went through or might continue to go through. It is a pretty lifelong thing, but more so I just wanted to bring that up because I think there is a bit of I think there's a real misconception around like the validity of being unwell, and people can think, oh, well, I'm not sick because I'm not emaciated, or I don't look as skinny as Taylor did. And yeah, I just wanted to remind you that that is not the case at all. That is not true. Eating disorders are all mental, and weight loss or weight gain is just a symptom or a side effect of that. Anyway, I know this is like unnecessarily deep for a fashion review video, but there's just always been so much discourse around this era and like her body during this time that I felt like that was important to say, because especially if anyone young is following me or if anyone is struggling with that, I think it's a really important thing to know about eating disorders that often is overlooked or misunderstood. Sorry for making this super weird out of nowhere. Just wanted to say that, and I love you, and I will move on now. We had a huge time jump here. 2016 Grammys was devastatingly the last time we saw her for a long time because famously she disappeared. Now we jump to 2021 in this beautiful Oscar de la Renta floral mini dress.
We just want to thank the fans. You guys met us in this imaginary world that we created, and we can't tell you how honored we are forever.
This was the first ever Grammys short dress. The legs are out on that red carpet. To me, this will always be one of the most iconic and memorable. Like if you think of Taylor Grammys dresses, this definitely has to come to mind. Also, I think the glam is really beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite red carpet makeup looks from her. If you're wondering what my favorite is, it's probably this. The entire look is so on theme. The florals is giving Betty's Garden, the cardigan-esque space buns. It all just ties together so well. However, I do have one gripe with this look, and that is the shoes. I feel like the amount of times I've seen this outfit must have cut off below the ankle because I don't love the shoes with this dress. I can't tell if it's because they feel like a different season to one another. That's an issue I have with a lot of, not Taylor outfits in particular, but just outfits in general. If it's like a really wintry boot with a summery outfit or vice versa, there's something in my brain that doesn't like that. I think ultimately these straps are kind of oversized and cut the ankle off, and because the dress is so like big and exciting and fun to look at, I would want to pair it with a more subtle heel to like balance that out rather than doing two big exciting things. And randomly, one other bummer that is way more my fault than hers, well, it's actually not her fault at all, or mine actually, it is the blame of like Sheehan, and I don't mean myself, my last name, but like the fast fashion company. But this dress has been ripped off so much that I just see it everywhere now, kind of like the Speak Now gold fringe dress. It just like has almost made it less fun in my mind because it somehow cheapens my perception of the original, which is insane because this dress cost almost $9,000. Well, for how iconic this look is, it absolutely has to go in Hey Kids, Slaying is Fun. Okay, then we have 2023. I think this was Roberto Cavalli. If you guys remember my video tier ranking all of the Eras Tour outfits, that name might ring a bell. I probably butchered the pronunciation there too. One half of me loves this look. The other half of me can only see a cheerleading outfit, like a cheer uniform top. This dress really said, let me be jeweled. I think it is such a gorgeous color on her. It's giving deep blue, but you painted me golden. I will say, I wish they had included the hood that was included in like the original sketches and designs for this outfit. I think that elevated it so much. And if we weren't going to do that, I would have preferred it to be like a sleek gown. So like no sleeves, no high neck, no two-piece, but this as a long gown would be so beautiful. The bead detailing is probably my favorite part. The shapes that it makes really reminds me of either like fireworks or Van Gogh's A Starry Night, two of the most beautiful things that we get to experience in the human world. I will say, don't like the earrings. I think only because I'm scared by how heavy they look. Maybe my trypophobia is playing up as well. This whole look kind of did serve as a bit of an Easter egg. So this was during the Midnight's era, so she's in midnight blue. She was nominated for Red in red lipstick. Speak Now was coming out next, hence the purple in the earrings. And also, it is a high-waisted skirt with a crop top, 1989. And for anyone that doesn't know, I just want you to take a couple seconds and guess how much these earrings cost. Well, if you said anything under $3 million, you are wrong. Again, just makes me feel so silly for sitting here and judging this. By the way, if you guys have made it this far, give this video a like. It just really helps my channel out so much, and I honestly would love to keep doing tier rankings, and that just lets both me and YouTube know that you like to see them. Okay, back to my very serious real job. I'm gonna put this in nice, because it is. Then we have 2024. My very first thought about this outfit, it's gonna sound like a compliment or really, really mean, depending who you are, but this is something that R.A. Montgomery would wear. Obviously, this is the night that Taylor made history, breaking the record for the most Album of the Year Grammys in history in all of mankind, with her famous 4th win for Midnights.
Taylor Swift.
If we want to get super deep and political in the comments, let me know if you think that Taylor winning Midnights prevented her from winning it for Tortured Poets. And beyond that, if you do think that, which one would you rather have won it? This look, it is classy, it is elegant. I would even go as far to say it is theatrical, like it is costumey almost. However, I do think it sacrificed, would I say style? In the name of Easter egging. Obviously, this dress is paying homage to the one that she had by this point already filmed probably for the Fortnite music video, but since we had no idea about that and wouldn't for several months to come, it meant there wasn't really any payoff for us fans just seeing this dress on the red carpet. Like I said, I love Taylor in white, but I do just think the structuring of this dress, or maybe it's the fit of it, kind of drowns her a little bit. All of the other dresses are either more figure hugging or more exciting, or just in a shape that I find visually more appealing. Whereas this one, it is really like a bed sheet if it's laid. Unfortunately, I do have to detract points for the hair. I'm pretty sure it was raining that night, and it just made things a bit flat and tangled, which girl have I been there. So I would have loved to have seen how it all looked before that sad incident. I really did love the tiny little braid in her hair. It was a great little Easter egg for combing through your braids of lies, although I don't think we could safely comb through that braid. I'm gonna put this one in okay, but not fine at all. Finally, we have this year's 2025. I mean, wow. Did I make this video as an excuse to talk about this dress and look at it and just stare at it? Maybe. Last year we were in black and white. This year we are in screaming color. This year Taylor was fully decked out head to toe in red. The shoes, the lipstick, the nails, the jewelry, everything. You know what that means. Red Taylor's version is coming. Taylor has been wearing a lot of Vivienne Westwood throughout the Tortured Poets era. So honestly, this was a perfect choice for a night that was celebrating that album and is possibly even like closing out this era that we're in. Another question for the class, who is your favorite designer to see Taylor in? I really like her in classic like Ralph Lauren casual items, but I also love her in the row. I just think everything is so timeless. And more importantly, it's my girls Mary-Kate and Ashley. Now, when I first saw a clip of Taylor arriving, I assumed this dress was long because historically, you know, why wouldn't it be? When I realized it was short, I didn't hate it. I think it is so smart to kind of pay homage to last year's dress and the Fortnite dress, but update it. You know, she's no longer living what I would say is kind of the deep heartbreak of that album. She did it with a broken heart, and now this is the glittery gel pen version of that dress. I particularly love the neckline. I think it is much more exciting, flattering, fun than the Tortured Poets version. I actually wore a dress very similar to this to a Harry Potter a Harry Potter ball that I attended, which again, if you think I'm at all on a high horse here, let's just remember that the events I go to were Harry Potter themed Yule Ball events, and she's at the Grammys. I just think the way this material drapes is so beautiful. It almost kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty. In fact, why are we not replacing the Statue of Liberty with this? That old one has been up there for so long. I think this would be a nice choice. I also love the detail of one side being very structured and having that like bunched up structure to it, almost like a Greek goddess statue, and then the other side was a more relaxed flowy material, giving ice skating, ice princess. And these are also, pardon my language, the cuntiest shoes she has ever worn. I thought they looked amazing on the red carpet, and then I actually saw a picture of them. Can we address the height and angle of those shoes? I don't know how she is walking in them. Also, quick sidebar for how amazing her leg muscles look. God damn, she makes me want to work out. Yeah, like 10 points already for those heels. I also love that she did the big glamorous waves similar to the Golden Globes look. That is just such a beautiful timeless hairstyle for Taylor. I'm almost wondering if we did a little curtain bang moment, how I would feel about that. I mean, it looks fine, so don't mess with perfection. Obviously, we need to talk about the tea charm. I'm obsessed with the fact that it almost looks like rosary beads. Like that was the first thing I thought of. Although I will also accept people that whose first thought was was an IUD. You guys know I'm just a sucker for any kind of religious motif or religion deconstructing or references in Taylor's work, in songs like Would've, Could've, Should've, Guilty as Sin, But Daddy I Love Him. So naturally, this chain was everything to me. Of course, a lot of people asked me, Ali, what does the T mean? Does it stand for Taylor, Travis, the Tortured Poets Department, or even my personal favorite,
Hughes and Troy?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I will just let you guys know all of these are actually wrong. The T here stands for Treacherous is an amazing song and should have won a Grammy. If you didn't know, Taylor helped design this T chain, which was either repurposed or had a very similar version as a necklace for the Super Bowl. But I just think that's so cool that she got to have input and work collaboratively on this. The T is in fact the same font as the Tortured Poets album font and also the So High School lyric video. Speaking of which, Taylor walking out to So High School, the amount of messages I got from you guys about that was so fun. I would love to know if presenters have any kind of say in the songs they walk out to, or if this was just someone working at the Grammys having impeccable taste. Overall, I think we can agree red is just her color. It looks so good. This particular shade of red in particular, the ruby earrings. Speaking of the earrings, you guys know I'm very conservative when it comes to calling out Easter eggs. You know, I'm not a reputation conspiracy theorist any day of the week, but I do feel like it is my duty to call out things that I think could be within the realm of possibility to be the real kind of Easter eggs that she lays for us. So I'm not necessarily clowning here, but I will say there are in fact 12 gems in her earrings. And to me, as a longtime Taylor fan, that does actually feel like something deliberate. See the purple in the, you know, Speak Now Easter egg earrings? That feels deliberate to me. It should come as no surprise that this is an absolute god tier look. And there we have it, my final ranking. Unsurprisingly, Taylor has 0 looks in the bottom tier. While the Tortured Poets era, I'd say would have some of my least favorite looks in terms of street style, but more so red carpet. The Grammys is one place that I feel like Taylor has never had a real miss. Like every year, she just looks amazing. If any of you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I do like a little red carpet fashion review for most of the big ones. I just find it really fun. We do polls and we vote on whether we like the looks or not. So if you would like to check my Instagram out, I will leave that below. Obviously no pressure because you might have heard my opinions today and think I'm absolutely insane. I never want to hear her thoughts on fashion again, but I find it fun. So on that note, if you can't tell by how much I'm sweating, it's about 1,000,000 degrees. So I need to go shut my window, turn the fan back on, and I'm about to go to a movie premiere. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I cannot wait to hear your rankings and thoughts in the comments. Feel free to also let me know what other videos you guys would like to see from me. But until then, I will see you next time. Bye!
Is this what it feels like?